To the cloud. We are now recording. You started at 7:01.
Okay.
Go.
So I'll call the meeting to order. We won't go over the rules of conduct unless anyone feels we need to. The agenda, can I make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented?
I second it.
Second is Judy. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your hands.
Aye.
That is unanimous. The minutes of the meeting of the 22nd, April 22nd, 2021. I've read through them. They're very well done. Thank you, Linda.
Yep.
Make a motion that we accept them as presented.
I'll second.
Lisa, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? That's unanimous. Thank you. Old business, the charter draft revisions. There were a couple items that we were going to affirm, I think, at this one, but it really has to do with going through the one last review of the wordsmithing, and then hopefully we wrap this up, our review, before it goes to public hearing. Is that right, Rich?
Yeah, Rich must have his speaker off. This is Henry. It is right. We're approving it today for purposes of getting ready for a public hearing, which will presumably be held at our next scheduled meeting on May 11th. And we'll be needing to get the final package out to the Board of Selectmen right after that meeting. Between now and then, if everybody approves what we have, we'll make sure the table of contents gets worked on, and the preamble is there so that everybody at the final hearing can see what's going to be presented to the selectmen. And we'll also endeavor to have the short summary available so that when we provide notice for the public hearing and say that they can pick up a copy of the proposed charter as marked at the town hall, we'll also say that there will be a available summary.
Okay. Do we, I don't think we need to go through any of the wordsmithing of single words or very short portions of sentences, but the open item, if it's even open, and help refresh my memory, I may not recollect accurately, had to do with whether or not we wanted to proceed with verbiage about a 90-day time frame for minority representative to waive the need for appointed members to be appointed and go to the, not waive it, but go to the statutory minimum. Where did we end on that? And I apologize, I just don't remember.
I believe that it was voted to proceed in that direction and to see wording. So the wording has been developed, and so it's subject to reconsideration. I would guess if people don't like how it works when they read it. And Rich did a very good job of pulling that together, and he can remind us which section to work on. I would say the rest of it was just putting in place everything that people had in fact agreed to, and then we ran it through the Microsoft editor program, which told us where we might need to put commas that hadn't had commas, and where we might need to change other punctuations or repair grammar or whatever else. And so there's a bunch of changes there that are just in that vein.
Okay, so is there anything that's of substance other than the 90-day time frame for minority to waive off to statutory minimums? I know in the packet there was the statutory minimum chart versus what we're currently, and having that side by side is very helpful. So I know that we just want to quickly look at that and come to a consensus on how we feel about that, and we need to formally vote on that major change. If we consider that major, that would be great. I think Mark DeRosier, you kind of helped bring this to a head last meeting. Thank you for your clarity. As far as, is there anything else of substance? We have passed over Paul Ramsey's concern about 5-pack versus Board of Selectmen approval, and I think we agreed we weren't going to include that in the final one. And we spent a good deal of that meeting 2 meetings ago on that. Is there anything else that I'm missing that we need to talk in more depth about? Help me out.
Well, with respect to what Paul had brought up, we did change the wording in 9.6 to have it reflect more directly what is happening informally. And that provided comfort that we were moving in the right direction. I think, Rich, are you still there? Or did you have to reboot?
An iPhone. just on.
Is there anything other than the minority representation that you would think needed to have focus?
I don't think so.
Well, I don't think if you'd like, I can share my screen in case we want to look through it. I don't know that we even need to do that, but if any one of you would like me to share my screen, let me know.
It's not a major issue, but I did request at the last meeting that we change open space to a commission, and Mark was going to look into that.
Well, we did look into that. Rich had looked into that, and the ordinance and the statute use the word committee. And since the committee is in the statute that's, or excuse me, the ordinance that is governing this in the town, we left it committee because we have no authority to change the ordinance or recommend the change of the ordinance to create a disconnect between the two.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you for that work. I appreciate it.
You know, I hadn't really thought about it. The only thing, and we've had a couple people write in about it. One was Vera Englert, and also, oh, help me, he's gone. Right in the beginning about having budgets go to referendum. And somebody had suggested at one point, maybe reducing the amount of names on a petition you would need to get a referendum. So only if there was enough people that it would need to be the full, I think 5% for a regular petition.
I think I thought we had waived on that when we agreed that the 5-pack area was going to stay unchanged in large respect, because if we change that whole Article 9 needs substantial rewording, because it is a very carefully integrated dance that gets done between 5-pack, the budget hearing, the budget meeting, and so forth. If we were going to do that, we needed to have started on it
Long time ago. I feel bad that it fell through the cracks, because there's part of me that would like it to be in a referendum so more people would actually have input on the budget, because a lot of people can't make 7:00 p.m. My daughter's at work. So it's a tough one that we really put a lot of people out from being able to be participants in the budget process by only having a town meeting and you have to be present at the town meeting in order to vote on it. And, you know, it was brought up right at the very beginning, and I feel bad that it was dismissed and it slipped through my cracks, but.
Yeah, you know, I don't think we had a formal determination of consensus, but I didn't sense, and I'm trying not to force anything in a direction that I personally want. I'm trying to read everybody, and I didn't sense that there was any desire to pursue a change in the way we approached that.
Well, there was just that it's the only reason I'm bringing it up is we didn't have a lot of public input, and that was brought in from 2 different people. And
I guess my feeling is that you don't get a lot of people to go to referendum either, to vote at referendums. So I like the way it is.
Town meeting, unless you have garbage bags.
Well, that,
Well,
or if it's something people are really worried about or concerned about, they will go.
And there is still that 5% rule, so if people don't like the town
Right, you
budget,
can go to
go
referendum.
and get a petition going and force a referendum, so.
So, I mean, I like the way it is. I just think it would make it too cumbersome to do it.
I did
just
want to bring that
automatically.
up and apologize that I didn't look more into that.
I appreciate you bringing it up. I'm comfortable with the way it is also. And in a town our size, 5% is not a high bar to achieve.
No, it's actually not.
Okay. Let's move past this. If we could, let's review the verbiage that Rich came up with, and I'll project my screen. Was it section 9.6? Or I forget what section it was. Rich, you could probably.
It's 6.2, I think, isn't it? Or
6.2.
6.2.
Okay.
Rich, am I making you dizzy?
No, not yet.
Okay. Thank you for being able to take my ribbing.
here we go.
This doesn't have the statutory minimum. That was in an earlier part of this packet. So notwithstanding the foregoing, just everyone read through this if you could. And if need be, I will scroll back to the portion where Rich presented the chart with the statutory minimum, but it really gets down to changing only two numbers in this right-hand column. Is that correct, Rich?
Yeah. Yeah. The number after 5 would be 4. The number after 7 would be 5.
So it becomes a relatively minor change from my perspective, but it is a tweaking of the charter that I think is well received by all, I hope.
I thought that the 90 days, if a party can't come up with somebody to put forward in 90 days, they don't deserve the seat. So that's my point of view.
Well, I think you're right. They should do something within that. That's
Yes.
3 months. That's a long
Yep,
time.
they have 3 months.
So I'm
Yeah,
reading through, I'm very comfortable with the wording as you proposed it, Rich.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So are we all good? Is there a consensus to go forward with this?
Yes.
As the finished portion? Okay. I don't know that there's really anything else of substance to review. I mean,
Well,
most of this is wordsmithing. Anything, Mark, that you can think of?
Well, I think you might want to look at the transition terms for the planning and zoning and the ZBA to see whether that's something you want to deal with, to be able to just have the people start serving when they're elected, a couple of
Okay.
elections from now. I think it's maybe the next page.
The way it phases in is complicated, but it gets to the simple solution.
Yeah, I mean-
I understood it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, the objective was basically not to shorten anyone's existing term.
Right.
Right.
Well, and you can't really do the 21 election because it's being voted on at 21. So you
Exactly.
have to start at 23.
Exactly.
This all makes, I'm looking through and this is the first I looked at it, unfortunately, this evening. Thank you for the work again, Rich. This makes perfect sense to me. Is everyone good with this? Okay, that appears to be universal. Well, I take a formal vote before the end of the meeting to say that we will adopt this as going forward to the public hearing as presented. So there's a ZBA verbiage also.
Mhm.
Anything else you want us to take a look at, Rich?
There is an opportunity to tweak it again after the public hearing.
Yes.
At least 2 more opportunities to tweak it, either in response to the public hearing or in response to any comments that the Board of Selectmen may make.
Agreed.
And 9.2, we added the definitions for the capital project. 9.6 has the FIPAC language that we talked about. Other than that, I don't think there was anything substantive that we changed that wasn't agreed to at the last meeting. Yeah, the only other thing I learned was that apparently Microsoft likes commas a lot more than I do.
I agree.
Okay.
Mhm.
Commas, I'm an English major and commas are for clarity.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna
think
scroll
we-
past this section also. I'm sorry, Henry, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I think this was available and voted on the last time, so I think that wording is okay. 9.2, was it that had the definition of capital project? Let's take a look at that. And people that are on the commission that have served on FIPAC may want to tweak that, but that, so take a look at it.
Any thoughts from anybody? Probably am I going too fast? I've had 3 people take me aside this week and say that I move meetings along quickly, and I don't know if they were referring to this or planning and zoning.
No, I like it.
Please.
Okay,
I'm
we get to the point.
Move it
not gonna
along.
fight that.
I'm comfortable with this as presented. Any thoughts from anyone else to the contrary? Okay, thank you, Henry. Thank you,
And
Rich.
How about where the reserve fund is defined, Rich? Which section was that?
9.5 at the end.
9.5. Okay,
So now it's called the undesignated fund balance and reserve
Right.
and reserve fund. And now referred to as the reserve fund. Okay. Again, very comfortable. Any different thoughts than that?
so we're changing it from undesignated fund balance to reserve fund?
Well, there is no reference to the undesignated fund balance in the charter. If there should be, we can put it in right into this definition.
Well,
I mean,
there-
that's what we call it now, but it doesn't, I don't think it matters. It's our savings, our reserve.
I think this just provides clarity. as
Yeah,
to
that's fine.
exactly-
well, it
and
was called reserve fund, correct? And that now we've changed it to undesignated fund balance
it's
and
always-
reserve?
It's always been called, at least as long as I've been on FIPAC, undesignated fund balance.
Yeah, but it wasn't here.
Right.
It wasn't
Oh,
in
you
the
mean
charter defined
right,
as that.
Right, yeah. I don't know where they came up with the other one.
I think this just helps to clarify it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Everyone good with this as presented?
Yep.
Okay, that's,
That's fine.
and we talked about 9.6 already.
Mhm.
Nothing else left. I'll scroll through the rest. It'll just take a moment. There's really nothing of any substance. And again, we've got the schedule that Rich sent us. Okay, so we're going to designate, I don't think there's anything else left to do tonight other than to make a motion to accept this draft as revised and send this to a public hearing to be scheduled for May 11th at our next regular meeting, 7 p.m. I'll make that motion.
I'll
We need a
second.
second. Okay, who is that?
Arthur.
Arthur, thank you, Arthur. Any discussion on this? All those in favor? Raise your- Or say aye. Anyone against? Any abstentions? That passes unanimously.
I'd like to make a comment if I could, or suggestion. When this is noticed, I think it's and we're ready to go, I would recommend that a copy of this be sent to the chair of every agency so that they can, and notice of the public hearing and indication that it is probably their best chance to make any further comment if they or have some comment to make about the changes that have been made so that they focus on it. And that notice could be handled, I would hope, by Mark Walter and his staff, but it may be Rich that you want, or Rick, that you want to have that come out from you as the chair over your signature. I don't know, but we should think about that because it's got to happen likely sometime next week.
So if we could, we could get that out as early as we can take the version of the document in the changed form, because I don't want to email out what all the changes are unless anyone feels differently. I'd rather just have the finished document as we propose it to be, to go out so it's as clean and compact as possible.
I don't know, Rick. I think if you don't include the changes, you might open up a whole can of, because the changes tell you what's changing.
Yeah.
That's a good
I think
point.
that's important.
Okay.
Because if you just send it out, they'll think, oh my God, I got to read all this looking for the secret change that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
So in essence, the version
hold-
as we were
hold it up to
presented
the
this
light.
evening.
Can somebody write a summary?
Yes, that's what we're going to, the summary is going to say that a bunch of things have been changed for grammar and style, and point to the half dozen issues like the minority representation where there'll be a sentence or two, but we're not going to write a 10-page report. It's going to be something that's probably 1 to 3 pages in length, and
That'd be good.
That'd be
Design.
fine. I think that would be fine because I think summaries are good. You're right. Reading through it could be a pain. Even if you read through it and with all the, the markups, it would be kind of hard to figure out what was changed. What was it like before?
Can
I
you-
think summaries good.
Can we,
It's typical when you do major changes to a governing document like this to have 3 versions. The current version, a red line version, and then a clean version if adopted. I think for those people that are interested in the details, that would answer any question. Of course, the
I agree.
executive summary, if you will, that was just described is great too, because most of the people, that's good enough. They want to look at the quick down and dirty part, and then they'll refer to the document if they have a question about
I guess
specific
that's what
changes.
I do. I like summaries. It gives me an idea where to look.
and that's funny because I like the details.
You do. I love the summaries.
Yeah.
Gives me
Yeah, I mean,
information.
that makes sense, especially since it's going to be conveyed electronically. So it's not like you're mailing phone books to everybody. You can have basically the report of the committee that is maybe 2-page letter, the old version, the red line, and the new version.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mark DeRozier, for that suggestion.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And don't send it out in Word format, convert it to a PDF.
Correct.
Okay. All right, then that's what we'll do. And if you'd like it to come from me, if you could forward me an email in the header with the list of all the agency names, I'll send it to me, and I'll take my my real estate logo out of it. I'll just send it as me as an individual, sending it to all of the different boards. I think coming from me would be probably a nice touch.
Yeah.
So if Mark, I'll work with you to get that as soon as you have it ready. Within a few minutes after I receive it, resend it out and craft the email.
Okay,
And I'll send I'll copy that to all the commission members at the same time. So I'll, in the list of being sent to, it'll be the different commission heads and the members of the commission, including everyone who's here tonight. I think-
can I ask a question?
Sure.
Once we have the public hearing, will there be another scheduled charter review meeting immediately following the public hearing to make any modifications that they hear because of the public hearing?
Let's decide let's schedule it and let's decide at the public hearing. If this gets to be a long drawn out public hearing, then let's defer to our next regular meeting. But if we're comfortable proceeding from that point forward, right after the public hearing, we could only have 5 members of the public that weigh in on that meeting and not receive much in the way of comments to process. So why don't we decide at the rest of the regularly scheduled meeting where we want to go?
Well,
That-
Rick,
keep-
you don't have that option. You have to have it to the town clerk by the 15th.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the aspirational deadline. I mean, if you're a few days late, all that really means is that you have to make up time somewhere else in the schedule.
Well,
That would
let's
be the
keep a-
ideal.
okay, so then I would assume from a procedural standpoint, we would need to take action in a regular meeting to say the public hearing is closed. Now let's send it to the
The board of selectmen, yeah.
to the town clerk to forward to the selectmen.
Yeah.
So why don't we have the regular scheduled meeting on the agenda to occur right after the public hearing and go from there?
Yeah, I think that's great, because then if it's, everything falls in line, we can just refer it on in time. If we need to buy time, we have a meeting at which we can consider to adjourn the meeting or how we're going to handle the issues that have come up.
Okay, that's the plan. Okay, so we will, our next meeting is May 11th at 7 p.m. And that will be, we'll go right into public hearing mode at the start of the meeting. And then we will adjourn from, we'll close the public hearing, go into regular meeting mode, and then take whatever action we need to. Okay, anything else anyone needs to bring up to us this evening? Any new business, audience of citizens, comments from the commission?
Nope,
Hey, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
that was quick.
At
Not yet.
7:28, and actually, just for the record,
Yeah,
you're right.
I didn't get a second, or I didn't get a vote on that.
Second,
Okay, all those in favor?
I,
That's unanimous. Thank you.
All
Great
right.
job, everybody.
Well, Henry, Rich, Mark, and Jen and Linda, that the kudos goes to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
yeah,
yes.
everybody did a good job. Oh,
Thank you again. Good night. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Yep,
Thanks,
thanks
Rick.
so much.
Good night.
goodbye.
Take care.
Aye.
Bye. Good night.